Welcome everyone, this is On This Restart, and this time we're talking about this recent debate that's been going on lately in regards to Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. Basically, in the most recent trailer, we saw some shots that made it look like Link is actually shorter than Zelda. Now what's interesting about this is that in Breath of the Wild, there is a scene where they take a snapshot in the Champions Battle DLC, one of the final memories, the final memory you recover, and you see Link next to Zelda, and he appears to be clearly taller than her. So in Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, with these shots we're seeing, it looks like Link is clearly shorter than her. So what's going on here? That's what we're going to be talking about today. Now before we jump into things, I want to quickly talk about my social media. There's a Twitter page, a Discord community, a Patreon page, and a Twitch channel. If you are interested in any of that, check it all out. It's linked in the description below. And of course, if you like what you're seeing here, also subscribe. So this video is going to be more of a quicker edit where I just sort of go through some clips I put together comparing both Link and Zelda in both Hyrule Warriors and Breath of the Wild, and we're going to be speculating why we see the differences we see. So first let's go over all of the clips between Link and Zelda from Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. Now I slowed them down a little bit, but from what you can see, it's pretty clear that Link is lower than Zelda. Now, is that because of perspective? Is he further away? Is it different elevation? Those are different things to take into consideration here, but in pretty much all of the shots here, Link is lower than Zelda, save for this one where he's right in the front. But here, let me go back a moment here. This is the shot that people are comparing. Link is very clearly shorter than Zelda in this shot. He's right next to her. They are inside of a building with, I would assume, a flat floor, so it's not like Zelda's on higher elevation here. Yet there's clearly a difference with a few inches of difference between Link and Zelda. But let me play a little bit more, just showing you a little bit more here. Here Link and Zelda are walking next to each other, and also take note of the surface they're walking on. It looks to be pretty flat, and Link is clearly shorter than her. Now all of this footage is from Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. Is it possible that maybe they changed his height for some reason? Is it possible because they are telling the story of, well, the prequel story, what happened before the Age of Calamity, that maybe Link is still young, and he's still growing, and that's why he's shorter than Zelda? That's maybe a possibility. That would make sense. I guess by the end, once the champions finally unite, Link has grown a little bit, and as you can see from this photo here for the Champions Ballad, Link is taller. That's maybe a possibility. Another consideration I had is that this could be simply related to development, maybe. It's possible that they are using Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition, the original Hyrule Warriors, as a base for developing Age of Calamity, and maybe they're using the Link model from Hyrule Warriors, who is shorter than the Zelda model from Hyrule Warriors. In most Zelda games, Link is shorter, so this isn't really a crazy thing here. What's interesting is that it looks like something changed. That's what's weird. So maybe that's what's going on here. Maybe Link from Hyrule Warriors, the original, is shorter than Zelda, and they are using that as a base for Age of Calamity, and that's why he appears to be shorter in the cutscenes, and maybe this game is still early in development, so that may change by the time the game comes out. Potentially. But let's go ahead and take a look at some Breath of the Wild footage comparing Link and Zelda, because while we have this photo where Link looks to be taller than Zelda, looking at all the other footage, you might be surprised at what you see. So I'm just going to be playing through these different things here. One thing to know about Breath of the Wild is that there was definitely a lot of different perspectives with elevation, and Zelda being down and Link being up, and they're really just trying to play up the romance between Link and Zelda. So they weren't always showing them like side by side so you could see their height. That wasn't very clear, but take a look here. They were sitting next to each other, and from this shot, it looks like Link is shorter than Zelda, and this is from Breath of the Wild. There, Link's behind her, but he does look to be clearly short. There's a sizable difference there. But you could say perspective, sure. Here, Link is walking behind her, but he still appears to be a little bit shorter than her. Here, they are almost side by side. Link's a little bit behind her, so you could argue, oh, perspective, because he's further behind, he wouldn't look as tall, and that would make sense, but they're pretty close, and here Link does appear to be smaller. Just kind of looking all over the footage here, every time Link seems to be smaller than Zelda. Like, there's a difference. Yes, Link is behind her, but is that difference that significant? Maybe. I mean, another example, Mipha seems to be in front of Zelda, but she's still shorter than Zelda here. Yet Link is not too far behind Zelda and still appears to be shorter. Kind of going through. And again, this is just, more romance scenes. And you can't really tell from here because they're both down. But looking at this shot here, Zelda's behind Link. She appears to be taller, but because of the circumstances, it's not very clear. Let me go to another shot here. This is an endgame shot. And Link seems a little shorter, if you ask me. From that. He appears shorter to me. It's not significant, but there is a difference, it seems like. And this is the end of the game. So, the whole theory of maybe Link having grown, I'm not sure about that. And here we have another shot, and again, you could maybe argue perspective, but Link does look shorter than Zelda. I'd still say he looks shorter than Zelda here, even though he's closer to the camera. Again, just more footage of this. It's just the camera sort of panning, so you can see a rotating shot. And even as Zelda gets closer to the camera, Link still looks a little shorter in my opinion. So, I feel like from all the footage from the base game of Breath of the Wild, Link is shorter. Or, I mean, it's definitely close. Their height is close. So it's not entirely clear, but I feel like from all the footage, it seems like Zelda is slightly taller than Link. But again, if we go back to the Champion's Ballad photo shot, well, I mean, Link is clearly taller in this shot. So what's going on here? Is this just simply some sort of issue with the cutscenes they're doing, and that's why things aren't matching up? Is it perhaps Link was standing on something? Maybe. I think what makes the most sense is, well, I'm not sure, to be honest with you. One thing to take note is that Zelda is not wearing her typical garbs we see throughout most of the other shots and footage. She may have high heels, and right now in this dress she doesn't have high heels, so that may lower her height a little bit. So that's another potential explanation as to why Link appears to be taller. That might be what's going on here. But it's hard to say for sure. I would say that from most of the footage, it does seem like Link is shorter than Zelda. But that doesn't really matter. Link is usually shorter than Zelda's in most Zelda games. What really is interesting to me is that it seems like there's a discrepancy here. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Anyways, everyone, this is On Just Restart. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll see you all really soon. Take care.